Hey guys, and welcome to Crazy Burger. So last year on the Evercade we got the C64 Collection 1, and hopefully that's a start of a lot of different carts from home computers, and we're also going to get Amiga sometime soon. Now hopefully through 2023 we see some more collections from C64, and ideally I would love to see them tap into the indie homebrew market on the C64. There's tons of games out there that have been made that are absolutely brilliant. Some pretty recent, and in this video I'm going to be showcasing 10 of my favourite indie homebrew games in the last few years. Let's get started. Okay, first game is Knights and Slimes, which I think is from last year, 2022. Now you've got a few different characters you can start with, but I'm mostly choosing the default one, which is the Knight. And your idea is to basically clear the screen of all the enemies and collect the stars as well as you go. It's a very addictive game, I really enjoy it. You can jump on top of the slimes, or you can obviously split them in two with your sword. As you can see here, every time you sort of touch them they split into two until they've eventually disappeared, and they can also join up with the other slimes again and create another bigger slime as well, which is quite tricky. But it's a great little game, very addictive, I really enjoy it. This one costs a few dollars on itch.io. A lot of the games that I've featured in this video are either free or maybe a few dollars on itch.io. But yeah, this is a great game. I hope we see it sometime soon on Evercade. You never know, I really would love it, it's fantastic. Got a great soundtrack as well. Okay, next game up is a game called Lester, which is actually only out a couple of weeks at the time of this video, so it's definitely the newest game that I've picked here, but it's fantastic. I've really been enjoying it. It's a kind of a Metroidvania style game, and you play a robot called Lester trying to sort of clear this space sort of factory out of all the rogue sort of robots that have taken some kind of mutiny and got some plans to destroy Earth or something like that. But it's all about the gameplay, and the gameplay is fantastic. You see the graphics are really nice for Commodore 64, nice, bright and colourful. The gameplay is brilliant, really enjoying it. Lots of jumping, shooting and sort of collecting, and it's actually quite deep for a Commodore 64 game. I really think it's got a lot to it. There's lots of maps, there's plenty to explore. It would be fantastic to see this see a wider audience on Evercade. Okay, so this next one is called Mike Mech, and it's pretty simple. Basically, you need to electrify all of the sort of, see the dark coloured squares there, you're just putting some light onto them. It's very much like Super Painter or some of the games, I think it was Gluff, where you had to electrify all the platforms. That is pretty much what it's all about, and it's really addictive stuff. I was quite enjoying it. Obviously the first few levels are pretty simple, straightforward, but it gets pretty tricky, pretty hard, but wow, I really enjoyed it. I think it's fantastic. It looks very simple, very basic, but again, it's all about that gameplay, and I thoroughly enjoyed playing through this one. It's fantastic. Now this next one I've featured many times on this channel, and for good reason, because I think it's absolutely fantastic. This is Millie and Molly, and this is another kind of a single screen platform puzzle style game where you need to clear out all the objects on the screen. Now it starts off laughably easy, where you've got two teddy bears, just walk into them, it's done. But don't let that fool you, this game is unbelievably tough. It gets really tricky, especially in the later levels from maybe 60, 70, 80, yeah, it goes up to I think 99 levels. And this one is one I did not complete anytime soon. It took me a matter of months. Some levels I got stuck on for days, maybe even weeks at a time, before I finally realised what to do. Honestly, there was sometimes I was doing some of these levels thinking, there's no way I can possibly do it. It's not even possible. But amazingly, the levels are possible to sort of clear, but it might take you some time. It's definitely one of those games that's a complete head scratcher, but I was utterly addicted to it. You can see here it gets a little bit trickier. If you sort of fall down there, that means you will not complete the level. However, you can actually reverse time. If you sort of hold down the sort of fire button, you can sort of rewind all the way back to the start of the level, or where you actually messed up. And there's other controls up and down the side there as well that you can sort of mess about with. And in later levels, you can also change between different characters as well. It's a fantastic game. So this next game is also from Carlton Handley. This is called Run and Gun, and it's a sort of a platform shooting style game. Pretty similar graphically to Millie and Molly, I guess, but you can switch between two characters. One of the characters you can jump a little further, and the other character you can shoot a little further, so you need to sort of change between the both of them, have that strategy going through the game. It is quite tricky, but it's quite a short game. Some of the sort of jumping sections can get a little bit frustrating here and there, but it's still a top game. And it's definitely worthy of including on an Evercade platform. I'd love to see these games see a wider audience. I think they're absolutely brilliant. And yeah, this one I really enjoyed. Okay, the next game is called Grid Picks, which is a sort of Picross style game, and if you've played any of them you'll probably recognise this straight away. So you've got a sort of number grid here that you need to sort of try and create a picture based on the sort of clues on each of the sides. So you can see here you can only fit so many boxes in each of the rows, and you need to sort of work it out. The first few levels again are quite straightforward, and I can see what you're thinking, what the hell is this doing in this video? I don't know, I just found this game unbelievably addictive. There's about 99 levels, and they get progressively more difficult and more complex and obviously larger as you go through the game. But I loved this game, I really enjoyed it, and I actually enjoyed it more than some of the official sort of Nintendo Picross games that were on the Switch. I just thought this was far better and more enjoyable. Okay, you can tell graphically this kind of looks a little bit like Rick Dangerous to me, but obviously this is a single screen game where you need to sort of make your way from one end to the other. You can pick up the sticks that you can then help you build bridges or ladders depending which way you want to go. You've also armed with a sort of a weapon, I think it's some kind of sword or something, but it's really quite addictive. You see here you need to move the sort of rock to activate the switch to activate the exit. But it's not quite so straightforward. You need to sort of build a bridge across the river here as long as you have enough sticks. You can see the sticks are located throughout this level. Pretty simple stuff. It's a kind of a platform puzzle style game again. And I think it's brilliant. This is typical C64 stuff, graphically and sounds. It's missing a little bit of music, which is a bit of a shame, but it's still a really cool game, really quite addictive. And this one's actually quite new as well. It was only out last year. And it's definitely worthy, I think, of picking up. I really enjoyed it. Okay, so this one doesn't look the greatest. It has that kind of a 1-bit style graphics, the black and white. It obviously sounds very familiar to another game that we've already got in the C64 collection. And the idea is basically to get to the exit utilising sort of torches and fire so that you can make your way to the exit. You can't step into the darkness, you're basically stuck. You need to grab the torches and somehow make your way to the door. So yeah, it's another kind of a puzzle style game. I seem to pick them quite a lot. I guess that's probably because I really enjoy them. But this looks very basic, but it's all about that gameplay again and trying to figure out how to get to the exit. And yeah, I really enjoy it. I don't know why, it just looks terrible. It sounds a bit iffy, but wow, it's so addictive, and it's great fun. And it certainly gets the brain ticking over as well, which is fantastic. So this is Barnsley Badger, which some people may recognise. This was included on the C64 Mini, but not as standard. It was included in a firmware update sometime after the release of the sort of mini console, and it was really quite cool. I really enjoyed it. You're basically going about the levels collecting, I think it's those coins. I'm pretty sure there's about 99 coins to collect through the sort of levels, and you really only have jump, and you'll need to sort of avoid all the obstacles and sort of enemies that are in your way. It is really, really tricky. There are save points through the game itself, but I guess this one would definitely utilise the save states even more, which would make the game a little bit less frustrating. But it's really cool. It looks more like a Spectrum game to me than a C64 game, but it still is quite addictive. It's all about gameplay in these old style games, and that's what I really enjoyed. Great gameplay, quite addictive. Yeah, it would be really nice. And again, this one was free, but it does cost a few dollars on itch.io. Okay, the last game is called Dot Cosmos from 2019, so it's a few years old now, kind of surprisingly. So you basically land on this sort of planet here, and you're looking for some kind of alien time control device thingy. Then things go a little bit pear-shaped. I love the graphical style here. I love the sort of sounds and the music. Again, this one sort of utilises a sort of game mechanic where you swap between sort of two different styles and characters, where one can jump a little bit further than the other, and obviously you can see things change in the sort of background, where you can maybe bring in a ladder that wasn't there in the other sort of character. It's a little bit strange. It's some kind of time dilation device thing that's going on here, but while it's really cool, it adds an extra layer to the game. It does get quite tricky further on, so I think if we did get this, I think it would benefit massively from having access to save states. It would certainly cease a lot of frustration if you were playing the game for real. But it's a brilliant little game. It was free on itch.io. Most of the games that I've included here were either free or a few dollars on itch.io, and you can play them on any sort of emulation out there that you can get your hands on, from sort of computers or even on your Anbernic devices or even your Steam Deck if that's how you like to play. But yeah, absolutely loved all of these games. I've been playing them quite a lot over the last few years and thoroughly enjoy them. I really hope Everkid can pick up at least one or two of these. Would be absolutely fantastic. There's so many great games out there still getting made today for the C64, which never ceases to amaze me. Anyway guys, let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll catch you again in the next one. Bye for now.